One of the biggest areas of growth right now in finance is in FP&A, because traditional finance jobs are being replaced by automation and AI. But companies are hiring people with financial planning and analysis skills at a growing rate. And in this video, I'm going to show you the FP&A career path you can use to be in demand. Welcome to Finance Data Pro. I'm Bridget, a CPA with over 20 years in commercial finance and FP&A. A few years ago, I was a finance manager and I could see the jobs focused on tasks that could be automated were no longer safe. So I made a choice to build the skills that would make me harder to replace and to be more valuable. And it completely changed the direction of my career. I focused on specific data skills and I use those skills in financial analysis work. I want to share what I did as a practical roadmap you can follow. So let's talk about the FP&A career path. Financial planning and analysis, or FP&A, is a part of the finance team that focuses on forward-looking work. So budgeting, forecasting, and business partnering to provide analysis so the business can make decisions. The key difference from traditional accounting is that is focused on what has already happened, so the reconciling and the reporting. But FP&A is about what's going to happen, why, and what leadership should do about it. So an FP&A analyst is not just running month-end close. They're sitting in a room with management, challenging assumptions, building models, and turning data into decision-making. The reason so many accountants and financial controllers want to make this move is that FP&A tends to offer better visibility in businesses. You get relationships with leadership, and this leads to stronger long-term career advantage. But here's the honest part. Making this move requires more ambition. It requires specific skills that most traditional financial training doesn't cover. And this brings me to the roadmap. So step one of the roadmap is understanding what FP&A teams are actually doing. When a hiring manager posts an FP&A analyst role, they're not looking for someone who can do debits and credits. They're looking for someone who can own a financial model, provide meaningful variance analysis, and present findings that actually influence decisions. But before you go and amend your CV, go and read 20 or so FP&A job descriptions in your target industry. See what comes up repeatedly, see the software mentioned, and the deliverables they describe. In my experience, the three things that are most consistently showing are financial modelling, business partnering, and data tools. And those three things are what you should focus on in your development for these roles. So step 2 is build your financial modelling foundation. This is the technical core of FP&A work, and it's non-negotiable. You need to be able to build a driver-based model or budget from scratch. You need to understand how 3 statement models link together on work, and you need to be able to do a proper rolling forecast, not just updating last year's budget in Excel. So if your modelling skills are mostly in standard management accounts or basic Excel, this is where to start. There are solid online resources, but honestly, the fastest way to develop this skill is to build real models, even if it's with made up or synthetic data. One thing I'd add in 2026, Excel alone is not the ceiling. Power BI and SQL are now baseline expectations in many FP&A roles, but we'll come back to that in a moment. So step 3, develop your business partnering instinct. Now this is the part that people underestimate the most. FP&A isn't just about technical output, it's about business influence. The best FP&A professionals I've worked with are the ones who sit in a room with a commercial director or CFO and challenge assumptions and communicate financial insight in plain English. Now, if you're coming from a more technical or compliance-heavy financial background, this is a real skill gap, and it's worth naming that out honestly. The way to build it is through exposure. So the best thing you can do is volunteer for cross-functional projects, get involved in business reviews, and just find any opportunity to present data to non-financial stakeholders. You can't shortcut this one, it just comes from practice. Now, step 4 is get strategic about your route in. There are a few common paths into FP&A, but the most straightforward one is moving into that within your existing company. So if you're in accounting or finance already, you're closer than you think. Financial directors often prefer internal candidates because they already understand the business and the context. The other route is lateral moves between companies. So going to another company in FP&A. Now, smaller business often have broader roles and you can get a lot of experience and use that as a stepping stone. But I caution you not to wait until you feel completely ready, because in FP&A, confidence and initiative matter. If you're always waiting for your skills to be perfect, you'll get left behind and someone else to take the role. Step 5 is fill the data and tool gaps before they become deal breakers, because data skills are increasingly the ones that separate candidates. It's also the one I feel most strongly about because it's the one that changed my career into FP&A. Here's my honest view on the tool stack you need to succeed in FP&A right now. 3 things in order of priority. First, you need advanced Excel, and that includes Power Query. Excel's not dead. It's still the daily operating environment for most FP&A teams. But Power Query is specifically a game changer for automating data preparation that used to take hours. So if your Excel skills top out at VLOOKUPs and pivot tables, you need to close that gap. The second skill is SQL. This is a skill that gives you independence. In most businesses, the data you need for budgeting and forecasting lives in a database. If you can write SQL, you can get the data you need quickly and use it through connections to Excel or Power BI. And that speed and self-sufficiency is genuinely valued in FP&A teams. The third tool is Power BI. Once you get the data and you model it, the next question is, how do you present it? Power BI is now the standard reporting tool in most Microsoft environments, and being able to build a report or dashboard in Power BI is a differentiating skill, not a bonus. Now, you don't need to master all 3 before you apply for your next role. You need to be able to show them that you're working towards that. The finance professionals have this combination, are competing for a different set of opportunities. I want to spend a moment on why I'm specific about this combination. Excel, Power Query, SQL, and Power BI, because I get asked this a lot. The reason for these 3 tools is that it covers the entire data journey in a typical FP&A role. SQL handles your extraction layer, getting the data out of the database in the first place without depending on someone else to pull it for you. Even relatively simple SQL such as select, where, group by, and join covers the majority of what you'll need day to day. Excel and Power Query handles your transformation layer, taking raw data and turning it into something structured and usable. Power Query specifically replaces manual data cleaning and transformation that bogs down finance teams today. And Power BI handles your presentation layer, turning model data into reports and dashboards that leadership can actually use regardless of where they are. When you have all 3, you can take a business question, get the data, prepare it, model it, and present it end to end without needing another team to help you. That's the capability FP&A functions are increasingly looking for, and it's the capability I built deliberately when I decided to future-proof my career. Now, I cover all of these tools on this channel in detail, so if you want to go deeper, check the playlist in the description. But I want to be realistic with you about the timeline. If you're starting from a solid accounting or financial control background, a focused, I'd say 12 to 18 month development plan covering modelling, data tools, getting the right business exposure is a credible path to breaking in FP&A. If you're earlier in your career or coming from a less adjacent role, you're probably looking at 18 to 24 months to get to a point when you're generally competitive. I don't want to be discouraging. I just want to be honest. But the good news is the demand is strong for FP&A professionals and it's not going away. The skill gap is real and people who invest have genuine leverage. Now, if this was useful, the next step is to subscribe. I publish practical videos about these tools for FP&A every week. If you want to start on the tool stack, I begin with Power Query. It gives you a visible win and you're already in Excel every day, so it just starts to enhance your skills in Excel even further. I'll see you in the next one.